And we're allowed to put them on the no-fly list when it comes to airlines. But because of the National Rifle Association, I cannot prohibit those people from buying a gun. This is somebody who is a known ISIL sympathizer. And if he wants to walk in to a gun store or a gun show right now and buy as many weapons as ammo as he can, nothing's prohibiting him from doing that, even though the FBI knows who that person is. So, sir, I just have to say respectfully that
these are really bad arguments. Oh, man. Known ISIL sympathizer. Yeah, and this is the United States of America. You can't restrict my right to buy weapons because I support people you don't like. You need stronger ties than that. Also, the no-fly list is a bad example, too, because you could be restricted from flying on airplanes without due process. President?
There is a way for us to have common sense gun laws. There is a way for us to make sure that lawful...
I think expanded background checks and I think red flag laws, I think are like better directions to head for this.
Responsible gun owners like yourself are able to use it for sporting, hunting, protecting yourself. But the only way we're going to do that is if we don't have a situation in which anything that is proposed is viewed as some tyrannical destruction of the Second Amendment. And that's how the issue too often gets framed.
Was there anything else? I think we're good.
No, there's nothing else.
Well, I got a video I'm going to watch. What's up?
What's the video on?
I don't know. I'm so tired about... Wait, what is this? Microsoft doubles down on recording your screen. Watch the video already. This guy has had his mouth open for about an hour straight.
Good. Leave it open.
Okay, what's up?
The gun thing. How much of that do you support?
From what I just said, all of it. From what Obama said, probably none of it.
What would Well, you know why the Republicans are probably so against it, right? It's obvious.
Because they're retarded?
Well,
the best faith answer is that any type of gun restriction, give an inch, take a mile, could be seen as like a further step into more gun restrictions in the future. So it's better to just categorically oppose them than to allow any small ones to happen, yeah? But what's your answer?
Well, I think there's two types of not gun confiscation, but not let you buy guns type of thing. The first one is what he was just saying is like you're a known ISIL sympathizer, and we can't stop you from buying guns. So I want you to really think about this for a second before you answer. Do you think that should apply to Mike from PA?
I don't think that should apply to anybody. That's why I said I don't support basically anything that Obama said. I think that's a crazy thing. You have a right to support any foreign government or whatever you want. That's insane.
Okay, so supporters should be able to buy guns. And then...
Hold on.
Terrorist sympathizers?
Okay, yes, thank you. Yeah, supporter implies like donating money to or something like that. That might be illegal, but yeah.
Okay, well, let's say that. Mm-hmm. Let's say donating money to Hamas. Do you think they should be able to buy... If you've done that, do you think you should be able to buy guns?
It depends on what the laws are there for that. I imagine there's some type of support or some level of support you can give to certain organizations that would get you either felony charges or something, and then there might be some gun right restrictions going down the road from that. But I think that, oh, Jesus. But I think that's like a fine, there's probably some types of laws where if you break them, you should be restricted from having firearms for at least a little bit, I guess.
You know, the challenging one is the mental health.
I'm aware. Yep, I know, because if you do the mental health thing, when he comes back, he's going to say, the problem with mental health checks is that if you have this mental health disease, you're not allowed to get a gun, then people aren't going to go in and get advising on mental health stuff because if they get diagnosed, they're going to lose their guns or something. Background check is fundamentally not due process. So to support it means you're supporting a non-due process method to prevent someone buying guns. How is that fundamentally not due process? Okay, while he's doing that, we're going to watch this.
A couple months ago, Microsoft released the preview build of its Recall program. If you don't remember what that was, and I hope you do because it's crazy, Recall was a piece of software that would sit on Copilot plus ARM CPUs that ran Windows. And
Recall was the name of the... Wait, hold on. Microsoft's recall feature is even more hackable than you thought.
Go and open the database yourself, even though it was said to be encrypted at rest. So obviously it didn't get a lot of love. Microsoft just came back with a new article, a new update to the original blog post that highlights some of the new security features of recall. There are some slight improvements, but I still hate the idea as a whole. So in this video, I want to talk about what the updates are, kind of give my thoughts on those changes, and kind of get your opinion too. I want to see in the comments below what you think about the recall program after these updates. They have made some improvements to how the database is authenticated, but overall, the idea of Microsoft taking screenshots every 5 seconds, even if stored locally, scares the crap out of me. So let's dive right in. Also, if you're new here, hi, my name is Ed. This is A Little Learning, a channel we're talking.
God, I want to reinstall. Maybe I'll do this tonight because I just love fucking with my computer so much. I watched the video last night. It made me want to reinstall my whole shit. Did you know that Life Alert? Okay, no, Life Alert is for old people. Well, here's a pro life tip. Okay, we'll call it life tip. When you go to install Windows 11, you have to choose world. I didn't know that. Instead of choosing like the region or the language, you just choose like English world instead of ever giving it a region. And you end up avoiding so much random fucking shit that would go on your computer otherwise. What was I downloaded some bullshit to remove OneDrive, although I don't know if it actually permanently removes it or not, but fuck, what was the name of this? What was the name
All
of
right,
this?
I'm back. Sorry.
Yeah, okay.
What were we bitching about?
I don't know.
I don't either.
Bayzed.
Must not have been.
Must have been Bayzed.
Yeah. So we got Big Dick on Wednesday. You excited?
I'm so excited. Yeah.
Are you?
Yep. Always.
You've been on their show. Now they're going to be on our show.
Wait, one. It's just one of them, right? Or is Vito coming too?
The Vito's coming on for another time.
Okay.
The mental health thing on guns.
Yep.
You probably already knew what it was. Not even worth saying. Just you can't do much. It is what it is. I do think they should probably get rid of gun shows. I think.
Maybe. You know what they should do? This is what nobody does that irritates the fuck out of me. This is what people should do. When people talk about preventing gun violence, what they should do is they should say, here is a thing that we're suggesting, and here's how many shootings last year were caused by this particular problem that we're trying to remedy. That would make me care more, I think, and it would be a much better way, I think, to argue against certain types of restrictions. Because people have like all these wacky restrictions. Like how many lives a year are being saved by the silencer like restrictions or licensing, or how many people's lives are like,
AR-15s.
Yeah, like how many like it doesn't, but like because like people talk about like, oh well, there's a school shooting, so we need to have like red flag laws. It's like, okay, but like how many of these school shootings are like a kid took the gun from his dad's safe, or how many of these school shootings, like a 15-year-old doesn't usually have a record of felonies that you can refer to, and they're not being diagnosed with mental illnesses that would make them at risk for doing a school shooting. Like I feel like a lot of times people will suggest these things that wouldn't cover 95% of shootings. I was like, well, what the fuck is even the point of this? I have heard like one thing, I don't have numbers, but I've heard that like doing the time delay, that actually can help. Because when people get ultra triggered, they'll go to a gun store, buy a gun, get it, go home and kill somebody. But if you have like a week waiting period or like a 3-day waiting period, that can help. Like stuff like that I think is okay. But yeah, all the other rules or restrictions seem really silly. Yeah, go ahead.
How much of gun crime in the U.S., how much of it is, I guess, what you would call desperation crime versus first degree? So actually, there's three types. Desperation crime, which is like, I'm robbing a store, right?
Well, we consider that desperation? What do you mean by desperation?
I think so. Like you're poor and you want money, type of thing.
Okay.
Like, so there's that part. How much? So yes, robbing a store would be like you're desperate for money. Obviously, if you're robbing a store, robbing a bank, you're desperate. The second type would be like, I guess, heat of the moment type shit. And then I guess you also include into that maybe first degree stuff as well. So if you had to combine
the vast majority are probably category 3, the desperation crimes, if that's how you define desperation crimes.
I think so as well.
Yeah. Also, the problem with the waiting period is instead of using a gun, they use a knife. Would you rather be stabbed or shot? You would rather be stabbed. I don't know why the like epic Reddit meme of trying to be the contrarian on like getting shot or stabbed is a thing, but you would always rather be stabbed than shot. It is always better to be stabbed than shot. It's a retarded fucking question. Sorry, go ahead.
I agree with you that like, yeah, it is the first one. So the question is, if that's the case, what can you do if most gun crime is desperation related, meaning people that need money, so they're robbing a store or they're doing something that's low income as a result of it. How can you incentivize them to do it? Like an example, this would be a gun buyback. And in the past, I've suggested the idea of stopping, like an insane tax on ammunition, like a literal insane tax, like a bullet tax, with like a buyback possible from the government. With the idea being is that you're so desperate that you're about to rob a liquor store and you have a gun with 6 bullets in it, you can either rob that liquor store or you can go sell your 6 bullets to the local police station.
Well,
like
I don't think the
$300.
problem is that like you can't put a huge tax on bullets because nobody would support that in the United States, right? You'd be.
You might have half the public. Might. Do you think you could?
I think doing the huge bullet tax would be worse than some of the more aggressive like gun bans. I think.
How?
Because you're basically making guns inaccessible for
people?
for almost everybody. What do you mean? How big of a
Well, no,
tax are we talking? I'm not going to pay $5
I
per
think-
9mm
yeah.
to go shoot at a range.
Well, I think that would be a great one, actually. Yeah, $5 per bullet. Yeah.
Yeah, but then you're banning guns for 90% of the population. Nobody's
Well,
shooting.
they're the ones who commit most of the crime, though. No?
But then at that point, why not just ban guns?
Well, we do that. That's exactly how we treat stuff right now. Machine guns, if you're poor, you don't get to have it.
Most people kill people with pistols, not machine guns.
Hold on. It's not the point I'm making to you. Listen to the point I'm making. Most people can't have a machine gun. You know who can?
Rich people
Rich
who can
people.
afford the license?
Yeah.
Sure, but if you do this bullet tax on every bullet, you've essentially removed the ability for like the vast majority
Poor
of the population.
people.
Not what you keep saying, poor people, but it's basically everybody.
Okay, then you make it. It has to be enough that if you're about to commit a crime, that you would consider selling the bullets first.
Yeah, but the issue is you're trying to set a tax that would be too high for a criminal to want to commit crime to make money, but low enough for somebody who wants to just go to the range and blow through a few hundred rounds shooting at targets. I don't think that middle ground doesn't exist.
Jojo, you're so fucking retarded. I'm sorry that we can't have a fucking conversation without your fucking panties getting in a twist. Like, these people, they think they have it all fucking figured out. I'm sorry, we can't do a discussion? Is that okay with you, sir? Am I interrupting your busy day of being Don Draper, of jerking off in your mom's fucking basement? Shut the fuck up. Sorry.
Yeah. True.
And get banned for 10 minutes.
Oh
I don't
my
like
God.
it.
You
Yeah.
got him.
Think about yourself in timeout. Okay, so you don't like it. You don't like paying $5 per 9mm.
Well, I just don't think it would ever be supported.
You don't
I
think?
wouldn't.
Oh, I mean, Democrats want to get rid of ARs completely, right?
Yeah, and how
For the
good have
most
they
part?
been at that? They haven't done that. If anything, the gun laws are like rolling back, right?
Well, they're rolling back, I would say, because of Supreme Court rulings, not necessarily because of the public will.
Sure.
The idea is that you could also... They always find ways to frame this shit in a way that's like really sneaky. It's like, hey, we're introducing a new tax on bullets, and every dollar from this tax is going towards kids' education and stopping online, sex trafficking and shit like that. Like, you make it, and then you call the bill the like Stop Killing Children bill, and then anyone who votes against it, you're like, oh, so you're against the Stop Killing Children rule. Really nice.
I think people would
that's like-
easily say, yes, I'm against it, and they would just call it like the bullet ban bill. Republicans would have a different name for it, right?
Yeah, but they would, right? But the idea is, can you get enough Democrats to support it that you could pass it?
No,
then-
I don't think
and then-
so. I think that it would. I think that people would be against it because it would be like banning or removing firearms from the vast majority of America, and guns are just a really sensitive issue to push on.
So what do you think the solution is then? I mean, if you look at it objectively, poor people are committing most of the crime. Yeah?
Mm-hmm.
Laws are there for people who respect laws. Like, any law that you make doesn't really affect me or you because we don't break laws. We go through the bullshit to get it. Like, if I want a machine gun, I'm going to go through the paperwork to go and get a machine gun. People in Chicago who are putting, what the fuck do you call it? On their Glocks. It's like a bullet button or some shit. No, not the bullet button. A switch. They put a switch on their Glock, turning it into a machine gun.
Sure.
They don't care about the law. So the law doesn't do shit. So
I mean,
you need a
then
real-
you would do it'd be laws, and then it would be like like different types of enforcement mechanisms, I guess, right? So any transfer from legal to illegal, you'd have to punish these harshly. So closing things like the gun show loophole, although I don't even know how much that matters. Like things like that are what you would focus on. So legal people aren't transferring weapons to people illegally as much. And then I don't know, you'd either make penalties harsher for the people committing crime, or you would do other types of, or you would try to combat the issues that are related to why people commit crime, rather than just like fixating on the firearm part. Because by the time they're wanting to acquire a firearm to commit a crime, it might be too late to target the firearm.
First off, we have a chatter who thinks they're an expert in this, so I'd like to chat with them. They're gonna come in Discord, right, Jasha? You're really confident in your views that you have this all solved. Would love to hear it. This guy's got gun violence solved. Did you know that?
How fucking you know
cool
what?
is that?
If he's in stream disagreements, drag him in.
I'm waiting for him. Come on, Jasha, let's go. Oh, wait, Dr. K owns you? Okay, that's a see you later forever. Anyways, I think the only mechanism that works is a tax, right? Like in Chicago right now, this whole Glock switch thing is an epidemic. Like people are selling them like fucking crazy out there. And that's like, isn't that like a mandatory, insane penalty for having a machine gun? Like that's a federal crime. You have a machine gun that's not registered. That's like some sort of mandatory prison time, I think.
Okay.
It's a big deal. It's like filing the serial number off of your gun type of thing.
Okay.
And people don't give a shit. They do it anyways.
Well, at the point when somebody goes to purchase an illegal firearm, it might be too late then to do anything about it. Like you should have targeted the issues before then, right?
So that's why I'm saying the incentive should be that there's always an off-ramp if you have a gun, if you have ammunition, that there has to be if you want to actually solve it in this country, there has to be a way to turn your weapon into money. That's it. That's nothing else matters.
I don't think it's so much that they've got a ton of guns around that they're like, well, fuck, I've got nothing else to do. Might as well go commit crime with my gun. I think these people probably acquire guns to commit crime.
Sure. For some of them. Some of them, I think, as we said, we agree there's desperation in this. If you're poor and you have something you can sell and make money, I think that you would somehow, hopefully, a percentage of these people would instead take the non-illegal, non-put your life in danger path to get money.
Yeah, but then at that point, they're never even going to be able to get those guns because the people that would sell them illegally or give them to them illegally, they would just turn in the guns, right?
Well, that's fine. But you would have to, the one thing you would have to do, I think, if you were going to do this, it would have to be a full, complete ban on new weapons and new ammunition being created. And then maybe have some, like, at a range, some type of shit where, you could shoot for cheap while you're at the range, but it was, like, heavily monitored. You can't take it home type of thing. Like, yeah, I think that would be the only way to do it. I don't know how else you solve this problem. Any other law or rule that you make, just it feels like it doesn't matter is where I'm getting at. Like,
yeah, probably doesn't affect things that much. Yeah, I would agree.
Yeah, I don't think there's anything you can do aside from creating a financial incentive for people not to have guns. That's it. That is the only thing that would work.
Possibly, yeah. But it's kind of like making laws against like assaulting people to try to stop domestic violence. Like by the time two partners are like beating on each other, it's probably not very much you can do in the way of making laws against assault or battery that are going to help, right? For the gun violence that happens in the United States, the vast majority is related to gang activity or other criminal activity. Like these are the people that you're trying to make laws for. It's pretty difficult, right?
How much of that, I wonder, do voters care about? Like, I don't mean to be like rude, but like, do Democrats really give a shit about like gangs in Chicago shooting themselves up, or do they only get insane when a kid goes into a supermarket or a school and shoots a bunch of kids? And I think it's the latter. I don't think people really give a fuck about gangs shooting themselves.
I think that if you're national, you probably don't give a fuck because nobody talks about it because who cares? But if you live in those cities, I would be surprised. Like if you go to, Chicago or Baltimore or New York City or whatever, I'm sure the people running for office there are talking a lot about crime. That'd be my guess. It's like I think these are big issues locally, but nationally we just don't talk about it as much because there's not much we can do nationally about it.
Sorry, I'm just arguing with chatters. People get so fucking butthurt about this subject, like even discussing it whatsoever makes people lose their fucking mind.
True.
Like even suggesting anything that could potentially change anything, and people lose their fucking mind as a result of it. And the reason I said bullet button, okay, is in California, they do have this thing called a bullet button. It's the cringe ass shit where they're introducing it into the AR-15s, where if you wanted to release the magazine, you had to like have a tool, but then people made it so that you could use the tip of a bullet to like remove the magazine. Like a removable magazine was one of like multiple features. And yeah, the bullet button was born. It's not a thing anymore. Well, I haven't lived in California for 10 years, more than that. So, yeah, okay. Who was that guy I was yelling at again? Hold on, I gotta look through my thing. Hattie Bin. Let's see, what's his nickname here? 1 second. He was really excited.
Okay, well, you figure out how to drag him in. I'm listening to this guy. 1 second.
Talk about software security.
Oh, fuck. Oh, wait, chat
What?
was right. The guy that I was talking about was this Chris Titus tech guy. He's got this whole ass tool for helping your Windows shit. But he has a video for how to basically make it work. But then in the beginning of that video, Dan, did you know that when you install Windows 11, you're supposed to choose the world region? I didn't know that.
I didn't even know there was a region. When did they add that?
It's when
And
you
what does
choose
it
your
do?
language. Like, it'll be like English American, English British, but there's an English world region.
And what does that do?
It makes it so that your Windows doesn't install like 30 random stupid fucking things in your computer. Hold on. Listen to this guy. Here, pro tip for Windows 11 installers, all right? Oh my God, this blew my mind.
So let's get into the actual install. We'll load up a fresh VM. So this is the first trick on here, is mainly just to take the time currency format and change this to English World. From English World, you'll actually remove all like TikTok, Prime Video, all those links on your start menu. Just makes it a little bit easier. And to fix, it actually disables Microsoft Store as well, which is really nice. But it's really easy to re-enable, and I'll show that. So let's just go next, and we're just going to do a fresh install. No changes from the stock settings here. Typically, I always like Windows 11 Pro. If you have Home, I highly recommend upgrade.
I unplugged my network when installing, bypasses a bunch of retarded shit. I think they turned that off, Cake, unless you've done it really recently. It used to be that you could unplug from the internet and then it wouldn't make you sign into a Windows account.
Yep.
I think
Now it makes you like, hey, get your phone.
Yeah, I think it turns out. I think you have to do it now. Yeah.
Upgrading to Pro,
There is
use a
a way
key,
around
whatever
it,
you can
but
find,
it's
because then you can really
obnoxious.
use group policy a lot easier. There's hacks to get it available in Home, but a lot of times feature updates disable those. You run into problems. So I always like Windows 11 Pro if you're choosing a version. All right, with the initial install done, it's going to restart, and I'll see you on the desktop. Now, on initial startup, you're going to run into this problem before hitting the desktop. It's a timeout, so it'll probably sit there for about 60 seconds, maybe up to 2 minutes, and then give you this OOBE, which is just out-of-box experience that we're going through. Let's just skip through this, and we'll just set it up as we normally would. We're going to skip the second layout. We're just going to name the device test. Next. And then on this, you always want to choose work and school if you're going to do an offline account, which I always recommend, and I've always just kind of have a habit of doing. If you have a Microsoft account and you're doing stuff through the store, you might do personal use, but I still like the old school way of doing things. We're just going to sign in options, domain join, and then we're just going to name this one test, and or let's just go test user. Next. For password, always leave this blank when setting up a test account because you get to skip every single security questions and you just get done a lot quicker from this little hack. Obviously, set a password after you log in, but this way makes it quite a bit faster. All right, and here we go. Let's see what the actual startup looks like. You can see we can still get like the edge garbage here. We got these widgets. You have just a chat and a whole bunch of stuff right down here. Not a very great experience, but a lot better than just using English. With the world, obviously, you can see we don't have any of the shortcut links for any of the other bloatware, whether it's Amazon Prime, TikTok, all that garbage. So it's a lot better starting point. That's why I like it. And you will notice if you launch into the
versus US.
Yeah, he's got all sorts of these little tips and tricks.
I just don't understand why Microsoft is doing this to us. Like
they make more money on it. They keep the cost of the OS down, and they collect more money later on.
I mean, I understand like turning Microsoft into a SaaS. I think that's definitely coming. But like, the only people that even like, you know how insane it used to be to try and have a local account, like the steps you would have to do. I mean, you do it, right?
I mean, wait. What was the last thing you just said?
Okay, to have a local account, like what you used to have to do is like, okay, you had to go in the BIOS and literally remove that you had a Ethernet adapter and a Wi-Fi adapter. Like you had to actually disable it for Windows to let you create an account.
Jesus. That was like. I thought it used to be. Wait, what? I thought it used to be with Windows. I think 8, and then I think 10. There was an option where it would say like log in later or something like that. You just
oh
push
yeah,
that,
no,
and
that
then it would
shit's,
just.
that shit's long gone. And then the question is like, why the fuck are they doing this? The only people that are left that are doing this are like the most insane, tech-sensitive people. And now they're basically just like, it's getting to the point where they're just not going to let you do it at all. It's like, hey, just go fuck yourself.
Yeah,
You're
because
gonna have a
everything has to be
Microsoft account.
online and everything. Yeah.
Let me ask you, how do you deal with people that are just so fucking stupid?
Stop
but wanna
watching
tell you
chat.
things?
Just stop watching chat.
They're just so fucking dumb.
Okay,
Do you know
I'm watching
who
one more
am?
minute of this.
Oh my god.
Cybersecurity. So if you're into that or just want to hang out, hit that sub button. Really appreciate it. So first of all, Microsoft is making Recall an opt-in program. So originally when it was announced, it was going to be an opt-out program, meaning that to disable Recall, you had to, one, know Recall was enabled, and then turn it off, meaning that you had to opt out of the program. Recall is now an opt-in program, which overall is obviously a good thing, but I have had weird instances on my own personal computer where features like Cortana, for example, that I disable when I turn Windows on, when I install Windows on my computer,
comes back,
magically get turned on without my permission or consent.
It's either whenever you do like any random update or whatever. Yes, I fucking hate this. And it happens with OneDrive as well. I hate this, I hate this, I hate this.
So I don't know if that's a misconfiguration thing, if that's a marketing thing where Windows or Microsoft are trying to push their features and turning them on without my consent. If any kind of malware is on the computer and they want access to that data, all they're going to do is wait until I'm properly authenticated to access that data and then just steal it all. I think the core of my issue with the Recall program is that there is literally just a corpus of data that is on my computer that I don't want to be on my computer, right? It would be like if I stored all of my personally identifiable information about me and my family and my kids, like socials, tax returns, school records, I don't know, all that stuff in one folder and just hoped that it was never accessible at the wrong time. That's why I have literally in that closet is like a cabinet full of records that no one can get to unless you're in my house in the backmost room of my house.
And now he just told us how to find them and how to get to them.
Right? I'm literally in my basement right now. This is the crux of every argument about corporate data collection. Okay, so like the snapshots aren't shared, right? But is the optical character recognition data, the metadata that is stored in that database, is that now anonymized and then like sold to Google as ad data so they can give me personalized ads? I mean, there are even ads that are paid out to Microsoft and Google in browsers like Edge, for example. And if this is just another clever way of collecting personalization data, I don't think that's right. I don't know if that's happening or not. I'm just saying there is the potential for that kind of overreach to happen. I mean, so like my wife and I share Instagram reels with each other, and I know for a fact that the minute I install Instagram on my iPhone, I get more personalized ads, and I get ads about things that we are talking about. Like they are probably collecting microphone data and anonymizing it for personalized.
Okay, I don't know if this has changed in the past couple years, but I thought that multiple people tried to do investigations on this to figure out if you just randomly talking would be recorded and then used to serve you ads, personalized ads in the future. I feel like every single time that was investigated, it never ended up being the case. Has there been like a new, like reputable source that has investigated this to see if this is the case, or? Oh, that's interesting. They could serve you ads based on who or what people are accessing on your Wi-Fi network. I didn't really consider that. I guess you'd have basically the same IP address, so so it's possible that they could locate ads like that or serve ads like that. I guess that could be. Okay. Who actually cares about this? For 99.9% of people, their data is used for targeted ads, which is harmless. People like this dude harp so much on cybersecurity without realizing that they're nobody from the perspective of Microsoft. Yeah, I feel like harping on like the anonymous stuff and being like, oh, like they can track you. I don't think the vast majority of people, like it sounds spooky, but like who the fuck cares actually? There should be more focus on the idea of having these like huge databases collecting a ton of information about you and how these things could be compromised. But another thing is that we've kind of become indifferent to that because like how many times has like, 35 million more social security numbers, got leaked, or, 20 million accounts from, I feel like it happens so much that people are like indifferent to it at this point as well. So,
well, there was this recent one that's insane. Did you see it? Like, pretty much like I don't want to say everyone's social security number was leaked, but I would say like half of America's social security number, like full information, was leaked. It's pretty wild.
Yeah, I feel like I saw this was this a few months ago?
No, it was like a week or two ago.
Oh, then never mind. Then I'm thinking of something different.